So we've seen a lot of people posting their positive experiences with Charlie. And for us, it also just seemed weird to post last Sunday and then post this Sunday too without really making a very public comment on this. And so when I see people speaking positively about Charlie, whether it's, on Twitter or people just candidly turning on their camera and talking about an experience they had with him, I really appreciate it. And I think that we just kind of wanted to share our off the camera experiences with Charlie and just spread the positive impact that Charlie had on us.
Yeah, here on the podcast, we always try to hear everyone out, no matter what they believe in, the right, the left. It really doesn't matter. It's just about having an open dialogue. And we had Charlie on the podcast about 2.5 months or so, give or take. And he's been nothing but incredible to us. We really enjoyed his perspectives, hearing him out. And Jack's last question of that podcast has really been making more of an impact than we initially thought at the time. And looking back, it's kind of eerie to hear that your question there, and his first reaction is, about passing away and wanting to be remembered for his faith. And that's something that I think really needs to be said.
So I will say our experience with Charlie obviously was one that everyone else has been sharing, which is nothing but positive. I'm sure he's probably one of the busiest people whose contact I have in my phone. I'm sure morning to night with his family, with all of the work that he's doing with Turning Point, with the college tours and everything. I'm sure that he's absolutely flooded minute by minute, but he still, after the podcast, spent the time to be so thoughtful to check in with us. There were articles that were made about basically little clips from the podcast that people wanted to comment on, and he would find these and he would send them over to us. He would compliment us on the good work that he thought that we did on that episode. And I mean, we've been doing this show for 5-6 years, and I will say that is very, very, very rare that people make that much of an effort to just be a positive individual, to say something nice, to positively impact your day. And Charlie would do that. And, although we didn't really even spend that much time with him, it was just a couple hours for the shoot. We had spoke, before and afterwards a little bit briefly. I texted him a while before because we tried to have him on about a year ago, and we had a little conversation there. And then, of course, after the podcast, just keeping in touch a little bit here and there. Like there's no reason that he had to be so thoughtful and just, friendly enough to just give us a shout and say hi and make sure that we were aware that people were talking positively about the episode. So I just thought that was really nice.
Yeah, I think too, obviously violence is not the answer. And that's one of the reasons we created this podcast, is just to have open discussions, even if you disagree with someone or if you agree with them, just to hear them out. And our entire message from the beginning is just allow people to speak, hear them for what it is, and then come to your own conclusions. But violence is never an answer both ways, no matter who you are. And I think it's important to just keep the dialogue open. And in this case, I think, talking about Charlie Kirk and his message, I think, is going to go a long way. And if people are very receptive to hearing this out, and it's just surreal for us.
Obviously, it is very tragic. I remember my brother told me the news, and then I immediately called Graham to brief him on what had just happened, and it was an awful feeling. And for the rest of the day, I just remember there's just I couldn't think about anything else aside from what had happened, and I can only imagine what people that were closer to him are feeling right now, and it's just tragic. And I'm doing my best not to let it turn me bitter and get angry and let it consume my day. And so we also wanted to share that I'm trying personally not to be spending a bunch of my time online, just because the awful footage has been circulating as much as it has. And And I think that it's good for your mental health also just to spend time around people that you care about and not let this turn you bitter and angry, and try to let this, help you become a better person when all is said and done.
Yeah, doing a podcast with someone is a very, like, intimate experience when you're given just he gave us no barrier. He said you could talk about whatever you want, and we even said, like, "Hey, if we ask you something, if you want us to cut," he's like, "No, no, don't worry, just leave it in." When someone gives you their time like that and you sit uninterrupted for hours talking to someone like that, you really form a connection with them, and that's the same with anyone that we've ever had on the podcast. And, I'm still a little lost, like, it's when Jack called me about it yesterday, I was like, "No." Or I was thinking, "No, he's gonna be fine." Um, so for me, even I've just been in disbelief about it because that's not how this should have ended.
I mean, on top of that, obviously, like when we traveled to him, he was so gracious enough to let us show up, use all of his equipment.
Mhm.
He had so many people that he pays, staff, just to sit there and to monitor the audio because we didn't bring anyone to do that for us. He had people managing the cameras. I mean, he put his entire team. So nice of him. I mean, he can go on any podcast he wants. He can talk to whoever he
Yeah,
wants. He could call the president, and the president would pick up first ring, like he said on George Janko's podcast.
yeah.
And he still sat down with us and spent his resources to make sure that we have a high quality episode. So,
Yeah, he didn't have to do that. I
no,
mean, him coming on
no,
our
no.
podcast he's doing us a huge favor that he did not have to do. So,
So we just
yeah.
wanted to let you guys know that, obviously our thoughts are with him and with you guys, and it's just a really unfortunate situation, and we just wanted to speak positively about Charlie. I don't have a single negative thing that I could say about him. He has been
Mhm.
nothing but friendly, thoughtful, and I just see him as a positive influence on my life. So that's really it. And like I said, it would have just felt weird to go
Yeah.
Sunday to Sunday and not make a comment letting you know that, we're feeling it's hard, and yeah, hang in there. If you're having a hard time, hang in there. And we are going to try to continue on,
Mhm.
with the positivity. Obviously, we're going to be posting on Sunday as per usual, but
Yeah, and we're honored to have had him on the podcast and
honored.
share his message.
If everything completely goes away, how do you want to be remembered?
I mean, if I die,
Everything just goes away. How would you, if you could be
Oh.
associated with one thing, how would you want to be remembered?
I want to be remembered for courage for my faith. That would be the most important thing. The most important thing is my faith in my life.